President Obama touring New Jersey with Governor Chris Christie, who is kind of gearing up his 2016 primary. The Republican race in 2016 is going to be actually the Democratic race is going to be really interesting. Anyhow, here's what the president had to say.
7 months ago, I promised you that your country would have your back. I told you we would not quit until the job was done, and I meant it. Part of the reason I wanted to come back here was not just to send a message to New Jersey, but send a message to folks in Oklahoma. When we make a commitment that we've got your back, we mean it. And we're not going to finish until the work is done, because that's who we are. We help each other as Americans through the bad times, and we sure make the most of the good times.
Now, I've seen some comments, even on progressive message boards, saying, Oklahoma, both senators voted against Hurricane Sandy relief. So, yeah, screw them. Let's not send any money to Oklahoma. That seems to be rather mean-spirited. There's a lot of good people there, even if they have a couple of crazy senators. But it also raises the issue of at what point are disasters big enough that they can't be dealt with locally, that we do need, that we all, even if you're in California and the disasters in Oklahoma, that we all need to be in on this, that we all need to be part of fixing it, that we are our brother's keepers. Adrienne Moore, Ph.D., is Vice President of Policy at the Reason Foundation, libertarian think tank, co-author of Mobility First, A New Vision for Transportation in a Globally Competitive 21st Century. The website, of course, reason.org. Adrienne, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tom. Glad to be on.
I'm curious what the libertarian perspective on federal aid for disasters is.
Yeah, that's a good question because, of course, libertarian is a pretty broad term, and I don't think there's any kind of unanimity among them on this. And so, at one extreme, you'd have people that just don't see any government role in, especially any federal government role in these things. I think a much more reasonable position or question is do we have the federal government doing, sort of playing the right role in these things? It seems to me over the last 20 years we've really shifted to where every disaster involves the federal government. So there's really no expectation anymore that for any kind of disaster that the state will sort of handle it on its own. And that's, when you consider states like Idaho, Utah, I can't remember either of those states ever having a disaster. I don't think the Dakotas have had a disaster in my life. And there's a lot of states that don't have hurricanes, don't have floods, don't have earthquakes. And there's states that have these things almost every year.
Mm-hmm. And but Utah and Idaho are relatively
to sort of self-insure a little more.
Yeah, but you're talking about maybe $5 a year out of your taxes going to support FEMA. This is a fairly low budget operation by the standards of a multi-trillion-dollar, federal government, and it really does. I mean, are we all in this together as Americans, or are we not?
I think we are, and I think that's why every time there's disaster, you see a huge surge in charitable giving to the Red Cross and lots of other organizations. Everybody feels like they need to step up and help out, and most people who do give a lot more than $5 a year, and so there's a question of how much more could we rely on things like that? How much more could states which do have disasters actually, rather than waiting or relying on the federal government to bail them out, step up themselves and maybe prioritize these things?
But you've got disasters that would wipe out state budgets.
Yeah, it's a small amount out of the federal budget, but we do this small amount out of the federal budget for 10,000 things.
Let's stop all those. Let's close all those military bases overseas, and let's go back to let's roll back the Reagan tax cuts. If wages had tracked productivity since Reagan, the way that they did from George Washington until Reagan, the average annual income right now, the average worker's take-home pay would be $90,000 a year. Top 1% wouldn't have made out quite like bandits. They would have, they'd be 30 times the average worker, like they were before Reagan.
Well, yeah, we used to be the manufacturer of the world, Tom, and then we
adopted free trade policies, right? Right.
Yeah.
And this insane free trade has destroyed us.
We got out-competed by other countries.
No, we didn't get out-competed. We stopped protecting ourselves, and we also said to wealthy people, we're gonna screw the workers and give all the money to you. This is the essence of Reagan's tax cuts.
Take the money away from the workers and give it to them.
Of course they did.
We did. Look, protectionism doesn't work. We did get out.
Protectionism is how we built this country, Adrian.
We stuck with things that required no skills. When
protectionism is how we built this country.
People with no skills entering the workforce.
Protectionism is how we built this country. Adrian, every country in the world of any consequence that is doing well right now protects their domestic economy. Germany does it.
No, it was free. We were the freest trading country in the world. That's why we grew so
over the last 30. No, that's not true. We had an average tariff from the time of the George Washington administration until the time of the Reagan administration of 30%. It went as high as 35, 36, 37%. Back in the 30s and 40s, it went as low as 29%, 28% at various times. But we were always within 5 points of a 30% import tariff. We were always protecting domestic industries. Alexander Hamilton, read his 11-point plan that he submitted to Congress in 1791 that was adopted in 1793. We were subsidizing new industries. We were, it was a comprehensive, we had an industrial policy in this country until Reagan started taking it apart. And then, Bill Clinton put the nail in it with NAFTA, GAFTA, CAFTA, SHAFTA, and
well, when we look at what a great job Congress does at managing anything, can you imagine giving them control of industrial policy?
Yeah, it worked really, really well for 200 years. It built the strongest middle class any country in the world had ever seen. It built the greatest industrial power.
Industrial policy did that. There was a lot of. I've seen zero economic growth studies that say it was our industrial policy that led to our growth. It was our investment in. It was our superior education,
which we invested in, which you guys want to uninvest in.
Any other country in the world. It was free trade. We may have had tariffs, but relative to the rest of the world, we were a relatively free trade nation.
No, we had a balanced trade policy, and our tariffs. I mean, some of our tariffs were really, really, really steep. We have over 22,000 tariff categories, and if you go back and look at those tariff categories pre-1980, you see on some items we had tariffs of 70, 80, 90%. On other items, the tariff was 2-3% or very, very low. We didn't have much of a tariff on carved imported sandalwood. We had very, very high tariffs on textiles, for example. That's why we still made socks and jeans in the United States.
Go back to what you were just saying about disaster relief. The tariffs do one thing: raise prices for all the poor consumers.
No, not true.
People in the
they raise wages for all the workers.
The domestic companies.
They raise wages for all the workers. We've seen wages collapse.
Order effect, Tom. As a third of you think the owners of all those companies, the first thing they did with the extra money they made off of limited competition was give the money to the workers? No, the first thing they did was keep as much as they had. They only pay as much to workers as the competitive labor market requires them to pay.
Not true.
The workers are the last ones to get the money. I'm not saying they didn't get. There wasn't any benefit to them.
What you did though, what happened was by having so-called international free trade, the so-called competitive labor market came to include the Chinese, the Taiwanese, the Malaysians, the Indonesians, the Mexicans, and of course you're going to see wages collapse. That's the disaster.
How are cheap products bad for Americans? How are low prices bad for Americans?
Well, when they're accompanied by lower wages, I think it's self-evident how it's bad for America. Adrian Moore, you can read all about it at reason.org. Thanks for being with us, Adrian.
All right, thanks a lot.